So here at the 11th OVC, we focus a lot on the average cavalry soldier or trooper, both east and west. But today we're going to focus on some of the hardships that the men had, not just out west. We're talking trans-Mississippi, originally the true men or the original men of the 11th OVC. Today we're filming at the home post of Fort Caspar, or Platte Bridge Station as it was called for most of its life. And what I want to kind of talk about in this location, and this fort is built as it was in 1865, and it looked like this from 1862 to 1865. And the hardships that these guys had was fairly unique, especially as compared to the Eastern Cavalry regiments. Specifically, what is that hardship? It's the fact that the 11th Ohio Volunteer Cavalry, along with a few other Western or Trans-Mississippi Cavalry units, never was organized or never was formed up in the same spot at the same time. For instance, more specifically, the 11th OVC never had all of their companies together at one time, even during mustering in or mustering out. And so obviously this created a disjointed culture and definitely a lackadaisical attitude in military discipline along the western forts of the Oregon Trail. And not only was this regiment never formed up or never in one place at one time, the vast majority of the time, men were divided into groups of 20 or 30 or 10 or 15, or in some posts, only 5 or 6, maybe 8 guys manned or occupied an entire fort along the Oregon Trail. 10 men under the command of a non-commissioned officer will be detailed from Company B and a like number from Company D for an expedition up the Landers route to leave this camp on the morning of the 26th instant. They will be furnished with 12 days' rations and 10 rounds of rifle and 12 of revolver cartridges. Also 2 axes, 2 spades, 1 tent, and 1 wagon. William O. Collins, Lieutenant Colonel Commanding, July 24th, 1862. Orders having been received from General Craig as to the disposition of 3 companies now stationed on the mail and telegram line, Captain Mackey will proceed as soon as convenient to the mail route to such point as General Craig may designate. Captain Hayes will station 20 men at each of the following places: 3 crossings, Upper Sweetwater Crossing, and such place west as may be fixed upon for telegraph office, and Captain Van Winkle will station 20 men at Sweetwater Bridge and a like number at Upper Platte Bridge. William O. Collins, Lieutenant Colonel Commanding. So that's just an example of the daily life of the special orders that were handed down along the Oregon Trail out west of the Trans-Mississippi. It's interesting to note that, again, you had guys at 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that manned the station. Here at Platte Bridge Station, you had 20, 30, 40 guys. Sometimes it was in the hundreds, but barely 3 digits. And again, like the military discipline obviously would go out the window. In fact, the 11th OVC, when other regiments would come from back east, would call these guys the Buckskin Brigade or the Buckskin Regiment, because the military uniform was almost completely out. They had traded with the natives here, and a lot of them were wearing things that were definitely not standard issue. And it's through reading these special orders from the letter book that gives you a deeper insight of the life that would be out here. Fort Caspar in 1862, 63, even 64 and 65 would have been similar to a remote outpost in Afghanistan today. Somewhere where you would not even think about bringing your family, and that was relatively dangerous on a daily basis. And it's reading these general order books or special order books that really bring to life what it was like to be out here. You can read in letters, that definitely gives you one perspective. You can read in the ordnance returns or general battlefield reports that William O. Collins submitted to his department back east when he was stationed at Fort Laramie. But reading these general order books just is so much light. And that's what I love about primary records. And like I said, guys, if you want to support this channel, if you want us to get more videos and more research, then I strongly recommend doing so, not by Patreon or anything like that. One of the things that you can have access to the same research database that we have in transcribing thousands of letters for keywords, and you can filter by unit, you can filter by branch like we did, or you can keyword search every item that's in images from the Library of Congress or other private collections. So if you go to theresearcharsenal.com now and use the promo code 11th OVC, that's 11THOVC, you will receive a 15% discount, and it'll give you access to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of images, letters, ordnance returns, and so much more. Again, if you guys want to support this channel, this is how you do it. We don't do a Patreon because all you get is videos. You get my pretty mug, and no one wants to see that. If you actually want to support us, support this channel, go to the Research researcharsenal.com now and subscribe. Use the promo code 11thOVC and get a 15% discount on your subscription. And join one of the largest, fastest growing Civil War research databases in the country. And we've created this database that you can access and do your own adventure of discovery, doing research in primary records, again, sharing the love of passion and history that we have, and maybe you'll find something that we haven't yet. So now to close this video out, I just wanted you guys to gain some perspective of the significant difference in culture from Eastern Cavalry, we're talking Army of Potomac, through Western Cavalry like Chickamauga, to Trans-Mississippi Cavalry that you had many regiments, not just the 11th OVC, but many regiments out here that never were formed up entirely at all at any point in the regimental history. So with that, dive into primary records. If you want to support us, again, go to researcharsenal.com, create a subscription, use the promo code 11thOVC, get a 15% discount, and until we see you next time on the field, ride hard.